Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Florida, 15th Ward Alderman, St. Louis City. I have served as an alderman now for 13 years. I have been assigned to Ways and Means, which is the budget committee, for probably 10 years now. I've served in the capacity of vice chair, and now I'm just a regular member with Chairman Kennedy and Alderman Frank Williamson serving as vice chair. Yesterday's meeting was about a very complicated issue, general obligation bills, where we asked the taxpayers to increase their property taxes to pay for things that we really, really need, like fire department vehicles and equipment. We're spending $90,000 a month to repair fire trucks, which is really expensive, and we need to make improvements to corrections and other public safety buildings. So what you saw yesterday was the culmination of, it started out what we thought was a compromise between the mayor, the president, and the comptroller, where clearly the comptroller did not feel like they had, at first they felt like they had a compromise, but then the compromise unraveled in 5 minutes. So we spent most of the day trying to put that compromise back together. It's $198 million at this point, I think. It went from $198 million general obligation bond to, at one point, 201, where the comptroller feels it's fiscally irresponsible to go over $200 million, and that there is an issue where the president has a wish list of things that he'd like to go in general obligation from a series of meetings that he held that are not connected to the Capital Advisory Committee, which was made up of 56 representatives from the whole city. Each ward had 2 representatives on that committee, and we did not hear from them. So yesterday we tried to get back on the path to compromise, which were the things that the president, the comptroller, and the mayor agreed on. And it seemed to me like the hitch was the home repair program, where the mayor, the comptroller, and the president had come to a compromise where home repair funds had not been expended, $2.6 million at CDA. So there's still a pot of money there for home repairs, as well as another pot of money which could be spent in the affordable housing. So the mayor and the comptroller basically are saying it's causing great risk to our credit rating if we do what we'll call a private bonding out. Typically, capital bonds are just for public facilities, publicly owned, rolling stock, like fire trucks, ambulances, and so they're non-taxable. And so for the first time, they're suggesting that we do something by asking everyone to increase their property taxes so that we can do home repair, which would be on private property. And those bonds are taxable. And so that seemed to me to be the issue. For whatever reason, the compromise was we have those monies in CDA and we have those monies in the affordable housing, so it might just be a matter of trust. And then two, the other point of contention yesterday was the economic development infrastructure amount, which is for Pruitt-Igoe and its redevelopment, which is owned by the city, and we have a very important prospective development where the user needs 25 acres and it would retain more than 1,000 jobs to St. Louis. And so
Now, who is that user you're speaking
I
of?
can't say.
You can't say? Okay.
I can't say.
All right.
It's not up to me to announce. You can ask Congressman Clay's office.
I do that. Okay.
That would be
Okay.
probably a better person to say.
Okay.
To disclose that.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you unravel a deal in front of the public eye, things can fall apart. So I can understand why they're being protective of that. But 1,000 jobs and regenerating new life and having a very important anchor providing jobs to North City is hugely important, and they connected it to a federal grant that we secured called the Stronger Cities, Stronger Communities Initiative.
And what is that But what
It's
kind
a
of
federal grant where we're going to leverage additional federal grants where they've assigned 3 or 4, I think, people to assist us to accelerate and to connect us with more funds to regenerate. And since this Pruitt-Igoe is the centerpiece of that initiative, and that's why you're hearing the comptroller's office say that this is a priority, because they very much want to see, and the mayor's office too, they very much want to see new life regenerated into, and to change the story of Pruitt-Igoe. If you've seen the film, it's really compelling how these high-rises were supposed to be a whole new way of life, and they were quite luxurious in the beginning, but because you don't have operating, funds, it just unraveled, where public policy unraveled, and the end didn't turn out, to be a happy one,
Okay.
So I think that that's part of it. They want to do something. That would be the transformational part of a general obligation bill, but typically voters just want to vote for it because we need new fire trucks, So
So what was
it's
some
a
of the
complicated
I'm
issue,
sorry.
and the voters will decide this matter in November.
Okay. So what are some of the main issues for you as far as where you stood at with the situation yesterday?
Well, I believe in compromise. I don't I do have a degree, but I'm not a financial expert, and so I think it's important that we rely on the comptroller and her responsibility as our chief fiscal officer, and I think it's important that we as leaders, that we work together, and that you recognize you're not going to have everything that you want. Something important to me is sustainability, complete streets, making sure that that we are a 21st century city, enhancing our technology. Those are things very important to me. But it's not just about me. I am one person that fits into this greater narrative. And so I think it's hugely important that we work together to accomplish our goals, which means no one person is going to get everything that they want. But we have a responsibility to do what's best for everyone involved. And so I think that's all I have to say.
Oh, well, thank
That's
you
all
very
I
much
have
for your
to say
time.
about that. Anyway.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, Erica.
This is Erica
Yeah.
Brooks reporting Mrs. Alderman
Jennifer, Florida. 15th
Florida's
Ward.
office, and
Yeah.
today is July the 3rd, 2014. You have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a great day.
Okay.